up, Juggalos? It's BobeBlaze, and I wanted to maybe try something a little bit different here and do a couple of these lore videos. Right now, the plan is to drop them exclusively for our members, Day 1 Dons, or the motherfucking big ballers. We appreciate all y'all, and I know that this month we haven't put out as much as we really anticipated, you know what I'm saying, with the holidays and all that. So I want to drop a couple of these lore type videos, tell little stories, and hopefully y'all enjoy it and shit, you know what I'm saying. It gives you like a little bit of perspective of hopefully not just me, but the rest of TeamMUJ as well, you know what I'm saying, and get these stories out here. Well, today I wanted to talk a little bit really like about just getting down with the clown, how I found out about ICP, and I was thinking maybe at the same time kind of talk about my first show, and also I already did put out a video a while back for another project where I did talk about my first time seeing ICP. So really on this one, I think I'm going to kind of just focus a little bit more on how I first heard of the clowns, and really, like, I don't know, how it all started, basically, you know what I'm saying? So I would have to say it was like probably even winter of '96. My brother Tom, that's who I really first heard of any of this stuff from. Both of my oldest brothers are down and have, you know, various stories or whatever, but I lived primarily with my brother Tom, so I was able to, you know, learn more from him, and I ended up going to my first show and stuff with him also. But really it was like, yeah, like winter of '96. I remember because then a year later I had bought my first ICP CD. But I remember, you know, at the time, my brother Tom, he had lived in the basement right below my room. So I would sit there and I would, you know, hear all of his music that would come up through the speaker, or through the vent all the time, you know what I'm saying? He listened to his music loud as fuck, you know? He's about 6 years older than me, you know, so at this point I was probably like 11 years old. And yeah, my brother was like 6 years older than me, so teenager, fucking fully into, you know, all the music of the era, you know. Really, I listened to, like, I got into like 9 Inch Nails, Guar, The Misfits, ICP, countless others, really all because of listening through the vents, you know what I'm saying? Listening through the music coming up through the vents. I'd turn my own shit off or whatever, or even turn off, well, maybe that's why I do it now still. I turn off the actual music of video games and play my own music, and I think maybe back then, because I could vividly remember sitting there playing my video games and listening to, you know, different music that my brother would be listening to coming up through the vents. And around that time, Riddlebox was out or whatever, and I know my brother was listening to Riddlebox like super heavy, and the art for Riddlebox was like super fucking dope. It was, you know, really kind of like, I was like, oh, what the hell, what's that? But it was the bass of Carnival of Carnage coming out of the basement, coming through the vents. That really was like, yo, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, hearing that shit, I was like, yo, like, this is crazy. So I would sit there and listen to it all the time, you know, and then I started talking to my brother a bit about it. You know, my mom obviously really didn't want me to listen to it because all the cussing and stuff, you know. So I'd ask my brother, and my brother would play a little bit more of it for me, let me listen to this, explain stuff, you know. And in fact, like, yeah, I think he even like burned me, or like taped, like made me a mixtape actually, so I could listen to some of the tracks, you know. My brother, I don't know, I can't remember if at that time my brother was fully living there or was still living there just on like every other weekend and on Wednesdays. That was like how my brother's like custody shit when he was at my house, like every other Wednesday and weekends. And I know that eventually he moved in for a while, but I don't think at this time yet, I don't think he was fully living with us. But I like, you know, that kind of just like went on for a while. I'd be listening to ICP, and, you know, I would go into my brother's room, and I would take his shirts, you know what I'm saying, whatever shirts he had. I know he had a Carnival of Carnage shirt for sure, and I would take this Carnival of Carnage shirt and I'd wear it to school. And because I would get home before he would, I would go back downstairs, put it up on the fucking hanger, hang that shit back up, you know what I'm saying? And I always thought it was cool as hell wearing that shit in school, you know? The following year, I had gotten, you know, well, you know, and my timing might be a little bit off, is pretty much how I remember it, you know. The following year, I know, like, for sure, 97, I had gotten a Blockbuster music gift card. That's like, Blockbuster's gone, you know what I'm saying? But Blockbuster also used to have a fucking music store, like, almost like a Best Buy type joint, but I think it was mostly, or like FYE maybe, you know, like a full-on, like, music entertainment store like that. And I went to Blockbuster Music with my pops, and my pops let me cop the Malenko album. That was the album that I bought. I used a gift card that I got for Christmas that year during Christmas break. Went, and my dad, parental advisory, ain't no problem. My son could listen to it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I got that CD, went home and started bumping it, man, and really, like, that definitely kicked off just how it was. I mean, this was 97, so, you know, ICP was kind of just getting there, like, with Malenko, got, like, you know, notoriety. People started knowing their name. They were getting, you know, there were, like, news reports on MTV and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So before, it was, you know, just a smaller group, but more people were hearing about him now, at that point. But, I started, like Die Hard, like, even then, you know what I'm saying? And I had met, some kids that I went to school with and whatever, and we were doing this, like, there was a program called, like, Little Hoosiers in Indiana. And at school, like, in 5th and 6th grade, you could be part of this, like, program or whatever. And one of the things was, like, an overnighter at the school. So I did this, like, this thing. I think I was in 5th grade. And I ended up, like, hanging out with some kids there that I knew from the neighborhood or whatever. But this one kid specifically, this kid PJ, I was, like, telling all about ICP, like, everything that I knew up to at that point, and listening, like, talking about their albums and the music that I knew, everything up to at that point. And I remember, like, this was, like, spring, because his birthday was in, like March or whatever. And I remember after his birthday, he came to school and was like, yo, my aunt got me this, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was, like, Riddle Box and maybe, like, Beverly Kills or Tunnel of Love, one of the EPs. He's like, yo, come through, you know what I'm saying? The little Mexican bodega down the street got a motherfucking, got Fagos, you know what I'm saying? We go get a Fago. And so, like, that really kind of, like, set it off as, like the first, like, Juggalo clique where I was from, me and this homie. And then his boy, his name was Frankie. We ended up, like, I knew him then from school, but they were tight or whatever. They lived, like, right by each other. And that's where, like, that spawned on for then, you know, a couple years later, meeting Jiggy Fresh and the rest of the homies. And, like, you know, by the time I left, like, my hometown, Lake Station or whatever, our whole block, like, there was, like, you know, a whole handful of us that were not just homies, but we were, like, you know, we all went to ICP shows. We went to motherfucking the gatherings and shit together, like, you know, like, just straight up Juggalo homie shit. But really it did, you know, it started for me, like, being in my motherfucking, in my bedroom, listening to my brother playing ICP and shit through the vents, you know, like, if it really wasn't for all that, like, to think, you know what I'm saying, and even that, in all that, you know, like, and Jiggy talks about it too, like, people are like, oh, you know, it's just a phase, you know what I'm saying, they just listen to this, you know, Juggalo shit or whatever, this ICP shit or whatever, but, like, to think how long ago that was now, you know what I'm saying, and everything that we've done since then or whatever, like, it's never been a phase because we've really never stopped jugging, you know, like, never really stopped jugging, never stopped jugging, you know what I'm saying, they've been going to shows since then or whatever, you know, just hearing ICP through the heater events would just, you know, change the trajectory, I guess, really, of my entire life, you know what I'm saying, like, even thinking about it, you know, I did a video earlier this year talking about Darby's set of the Gathering and talking just about a bunch of shit about the Gathering or whatever, to think, you know, to go from hearing ICP coming up from the basement when I was fucking 11 years old to being in my 30s now, late 30s now, and still loving every minute of this shit, meeting new people every year because of it, you know, and really, like, you know, I'll even talk about my first show or whatever, and I have another video for it, but, you know, within, like, about 2 years, I would say a year and a half, because it was 99 when I went to see the Amazing Jekyll Brothers tour. That's crazy how shit was back then, though, too. Like, you know, you gotta think internet is really not what it is definitely today. Phones aren't what they are today or whatever. I read it in the newspaper. We live close to Chicago, so in the newspaper it would say, like, events that were coming up. Like Ticketmaster would have, like, a fucking thing that would show events coming up, and I saw, you know, ICP coming to fucking Chicago. like, instantly was like, yo, to my mom, like, what can I do to be able to go to this? You know, what do I got to do? And my brother Tom was like, yo, I'll take him for sure. So my mom got us tickets, and my brother and a couple of his friends took us. And bro, we drove in like this Blazer shit that they had, and it was called the Pope Pimp, had 2 big old 15s in it, pounded all the way out there. And like I said, bro, I was, at this point then I was like 12 years old. I wasn't even 13 yet. I was 12 years old. It was the summer of '99. And I went to this show, man, and it was the craziest shit ever. Like, just, you know, I don't necessarily go to shows super early and line up super early anymore. I usually have to go to shows early, only if I'm like working them or whatever. I usually don't go to shows early at all anymore unless I am working. Or there's someone I want to see, you know, open that shit up, you know what I'm saying? For this one, man, like back in the day too, and it still happens a lot, no, but back in the day, like for an ICP show, motherfuckers were lining up at noon and shit, you know what I'm saying, 11 o'clock in the morning, you know, and being there all day. I don't know what time we got there then, you know, but just seeing this big old line, it was at the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, Illinois. It was in August of '99. The Aragon's actually a really cool ass venue. It's got like inside, it's like a courtyard, basically. That's what it looks like. It looks like you're outside. You know, the ceiling's painted with, like, you know, stars and shit like that, and the balcony seats look like they would be like out facing into a courtyard. It's pretty cool. It's a cool ass venue. And it was a wild time, you know. Like I said, I was 12 years old waiting in this long line. Of course, you know, my brother and his friends were indulging in alcohol and marijuana, and, you know, I couldn't or whatever, you know. But I just remember seeing, like, man, just seeing all the juggalos even then, you know, like, this is before, like, the family, this is the Wicked Clown era, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just different, you know, like, going in there and seeing that show. I think on that shit they say, like, fucking, like, Snoop was supposed to be there or whatever, but Snoop wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like Biohazard and Mindless Self-Indulgence. And I remember being fucking, having my little 12-year-old ass in the crowd, turning my back to fucking Mindless Self-Indulgence and giving him the middle finger and shit, you know. But fucking seeing ICP for that first time, it's crazy as hell, you know. Like, I remember them doing Assassins, and then the police came out and shot and killed him. Fucking everything went black. Fucking curtains went down, you know what I'm saying? And then a couple seconds later, maybe a couple minutes later, music for Nothing's Left starts playing, and it opens up, and it's a big old fucking, you know, Heaven's Clouds and Gate and ICP come out and fucking, you know, sing Nothing's Left and shit. Like, that's something that sticks with my head all the way, you know, from fucking '99. We're looking on, you know, over fucking almost 30 years, you know what I'm saying? And, like, just thinking about how fucking, like, how that changed so much, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was fucking 12 years old. I wasn't even 13. I remember thinking I was like a little badass, like, oh yeah, I'm 13 in this bitch, but I was only 12, you know what I'm saying? It was fucking, I still had like fucking 3 months or some shit before I was gonna be 13, so just telling that to people out there was goofy as fuck, but, you know, it was just some kid shit, man. And to think, you know, like, how many times now I've seen ICP since then. That first time just fucking kicked it off. You know, it was like a full on, like, cool, I haven't listened to them, I listen to their records or whatever, but then, like, see them in person and see what it's all about, man, that shit was insane. It fucking was insane. Changed my fucking life, bro. To think, like, now, you know, went to fucking, you know, 13 plus gathering. I'm trying to think even if it might even be 14, you know, I'd have to sit here and do the math, juggalos. However many times I've seen ICP, you know, well over fucking 50, you know, closer to 150 you would think by now, you know what I'm saying? Several different events, you know, and it all started back then. And like I said, there's just been there really hasn't been a falter in me listening to ICP or any change in listening to ICP, as much as my life has fucking changed completely multiple times throughout the generations. Like, you know, ICP and juggalos have been a constant. And that's why it is so important to us now when we talk about things like this now, when we do the show and shit now, and we're still meeting juggalos and stuff now, you know, like, it's like, I don't know, it shaped a lot of our lives, you know, and I'd like to hear everyone's story like this. That's something that we ask a lot of times when we have people on the show, is like, hey, what was your first show, or how'd you get down, or whatever. And it's not like a dick measuring contest. It's more of just like, this story is cool as fuck. To hear this type of stuff is cool, because then, you know, like, I don't know, it gives you perspective into people's lives and how they got down and how this has impacted them. I mean, you know, to go from hearing it come out of the vents, you know, to being able to work at the Gathering of the Juggalos has been like crazy as fuck, you know what I'm saying? It's been like a full-on Juggalo fucking dream, you know? The shirt that I'm wearing right now, I still have the poster. I've had the poster since like '98. I used to have this shirt. I'm happy as fuck they released this shirt, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit right here, the Wicked Clowns era. When I saw these motherfuckers on that poster and shit, and I saw who Jay and Shags were, I was like, yo, like, those motherfuckers are dope as hell. And I've been thinking that nonstop since, you know what I'm saying? Through the ups and downs of the Wicked Clowns, I've just been like still thinking that same type of shit. You know, this isn't a super detailed lore story, you know what I'm saying? I told you guys some things or whatever. I'll link up the video to the other thing that I did, where I talked more probably in depth about a little bit about both this and stuff. But I kind of want to just get this out here, man, you know, just something for the members out there, and just so you get an idea of like where it started for us, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing this shit for so long, and it's still so important to us, you know, like, even in just, you know, we've been doing this however many years, being Juggalos or listed in ICP, being down with the motherfucking clown, but then even every year, you know, there's been things that it's been better and better, you know, even just in these last couple of years, how many of you who are watching this right now who we've met just in the last couple of years, you know, that means a lot to us and shit. So I hope this type of stuff is entertaining for you. I'll tell the story of my first gathering of the Juggalos. That is 2002, and if you know about 2002, so I'm excited to talk about that. That'll be the next one most likely, and hopefully you'll hear other stories too, and like I said, not just from me but from the rest of TeamMUJ also. But man, like I said, I don't know, this ain't too long or anything. If you guys have any type of questions, you guys want to talk about this more, hit me up, man. Let's shoot the shit. But until then, thank you for everything. Much motherfucking love. Whoop, whoop.